There's a rare cancer that flips a veteran straight to 100%, and the people who have it almost never claim it. $3,938.58 a month tax-free, and it climbs from there with a spouse. And there's an add-on, the VA never volunteers. One that keeps cutting a check to your husband or wife every single month after you're gone. It switches on the day this claim gets approved, and we will get to exactly how before the end.
I'm Erica, and here's the part that stings the most. The tumor doing this is a soft tissue sarcoma. Angiosarcoma, alveolar soft part sarcoma, the rare ones. Too many veterans are sitting on a service connection they never filed for.
So today we go deep on the rare sarcomas, and the one fact that changes everything. Your tumor type might already be on a government list that does the hardest part of the claim for you.
Michael here. Picture the VA rating table like a shop manual. Most conditions make you climb a ladder of percentages. This one skips the ladder entirely while the cancer is active. Full stop, 100%.
This is Kim, and the handbook's own words matter here. The rating is not a favor. It is written into the schedule. Log the diagnosis, and the number is already decided.
And the reason it goes unclaimed is brutal in how simple it is. Nobody at the clinic says the sentence out loud. Your sarcoma is on a list. So the veteran fights the cancer and never files the paper.
Before we go further, the comments already ask the harder version of this. Someone wrote, "My dad had angiosarcoma after Vietnam. Is that automatic, or do we still have to prove it?" Short answer, if the exposure fits, you do not prove the cause. The list does.
That question is the whole video, and every tool we built to help sits at va.professorerica.com. Free claim guides, the rating tables, all of it. Everything so far keeps your rating. The next 10 minutes is where families either claim this or lose it.
Take the rule literally. While the sarcoma is active, the diagnostic code fixes it at 100%. Not proposed, not maybe, fixed.
Everything so far keeps your rating. This is where the money actually lives, so we called someone who lives in these claims all day. Let me put her on the line.
Glad to. So, short version, yes, an active soft tissue sarcoma sits at 100% by the schedule itself, code 5329. 9 times out of 10, the delay I see isn't the rating, it's that nobody filed while treatment was happening.
The handbook's own words say that 100% continues through surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, all of it. Professor, how long does it hold?
It holds through active treatment and then a set window after. 6 months after treatment stops, the VA runs a mandatory examination. That exam is where the rating gets reset based on what the cancer left behind.
And if a decision comes back wrong and it turns into an appeal?
Honestly, that's the edge of my lane. The claim side I know cold. The board is a different animal, and I'd want a good VSO in that world.
Think of it like a cast on a broken arm. The cast gives you full support while the bone knits, and a loaner car covers you while yours is in the shop. Both cover you completely during the active problem, then they come off and someone checks what's actually left.
I'm going to give that list of covered tumors a plain name, because the official one is a mouthful. Call it the skip line. If your sarcoma's on it, you skip the hardest fight.
A viewer wrote in with the version of this that keeps me up. A letter shows up, standard envelope. Inside, it's a proposal to reduce from 100 down to 30. He'd finished chemo months back and never saw the exam notice.
Wait, so he did nothing wrong and the letter still came?
Nothing wrong. The exam is mandatory, so when he went dark, the system moved without him. Answer the exam notice, that's the whole lesson.
That case is the norm, not the exception. Show up to the 6-month exam. It is the single cheapest thing you can do to protect the rating.
And picture the household while this is happening. Treatment, travel, lost work, and a family wondering if the check even survives all of it.
So let's put the real number on the table. Start with the headline figure.
Log in and check your own letter against this. Alone, it's $3,938.58.
Add a spouse and it steps up by $219.59. Miss none of it because none of it is optional.
Which lands you at $4,158.17 a month, tax-free. That's the check while the fight is on. But you're doing the wrong math if you stop there. Look, let me pause for just a second because this genuinely helps. If you are getting value here, hit that like button, then subscribe and ring the bell. It costs you nothing, and it is the single biggest thing that keeps these videos coming.
Careful here because this is where the money quietly walks out the door. The cancer goes quiet, the exam happens, and a lot of veterans think the benefit ends right there. It does not.
Right, and the reason it walks is subtle. They mark no evidence of disease and drop you off the 100%, but they're supposed to rate everything the treatment left behind.
And that residual list is longer than people expect. An amputation, a removed organ, wide surgical scars, lymphedema, the chronic swelling after lymph nodes come out.
Take the swelling seriously. Lymphedema alone can carry a real rating for the rest of your life. It never shows up on the tumor board's paperwork, so you have to name it yourself.
Almost everyone gets the next part wrong. These residuals combine, they don't just add. 50 and 30 is not 80 on a VA letter. So,
Wait, if the residuals combine instead of add, then how do I ever land back at 100%?
fair, the VA combines each rating against what's left of the whole, not against zero, which is exactly why one big residual, like a limb, matters more than 3 small ones stacked.
And here's the ruling on the biggest ones. Lose a limb, lose an organ, lose function down there, and you're not just in the rating table anymore. You may be owed special monthly compensation, a separate check on top.
That's the piece people never claim because it sounds like a different program. It stacks. Which brings us to the reason any of this is even automatic. There's one line on your service record that decides whether you fight for the cause at all. Eight words on a government page carry this entire episode. Soft tissue sarcoma, other than a few named exceptions. That phrase sits on the Agent Orange presumptive list.
Run the logic, because it's the whole game. Presumptive means the VA already accepts the cause. You served where herbicide is presumed, you have a covered sarcoma, the connection is granted. That's the healing cast coming off, except you never had to prove how the arm broke.
And the list names the rare ones by name. The handbook's own words include angiosarcoma, both hemangiosarcoma and lymphangiosarcoma, and alveolar soft part sarcoma. If anyone wants to check, it's 38 CFR 3.309, Note 1.
That's a spray plane formation laying herbicide over Vietnam, the same aircraft that later carried troops, which is why post-war crews on those planes are on the exposure list too.
But read the fine print, because the list has teeth both ways. Osteosarcoma, chondrosarcoma, Kaposi's sarcoma, and mesothelioma are carved out. Same word, sarcoma, completely different answer.
Quick gut check before I show the map of where this counts. How many of these exposure groups do you figure qualify? Vietnam boots on ground? Sure. Guess the rest.
Honestly, 2, maybe 3. Vietnam and the ships offshore.
Almost. It's a lot wider. Vietnam, Blue Water Navy within 12 miles, Thai base perimeters, the Korean DMZ, the air crews who flew those spray planes, and the PACT Act added Laos, Cambodia, Guam, American Samoa, and Johnston Atoll.
So the version going around that this only helps Vietnam infantry is half true at best. The map is huge. Hold on to that word presumptive, because before this video ends, I'll show you the one path that works even when your unit never touched a listed spot.
And the payoff of being on that list is simple. On the list, you don't prove the cause. That is the difference between a claim that drags 2 years and one that's granted on the paperwork. But what about the veterans whose exposure isn't Agent Orange at all?
Then you file direct. Not every sarcoma traces to Agent Orange, and if you're off the list, direct service connection is the answer.
Winnable.
Direct means you show the link yourself, with a nexus letter. That's a doctor's note tying the tumor to your service.
And people jump straight to Camp Lejeune. Fair instinct, wrong list.
Right, Camp Lejeune has 8 presumptive conditions: bladder, kidney, liver, leukemia, and so on. Which sarcoma is on it, Kim?
None. Sarcoma isn't one of the 8. The catch, though, is which Camp Lejeune are we even talking? The disability side or the lawsuit? 2 different answers.
Okay, 2 ways to answer that. The lawsuit, the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, did cover non-listed cancers like sarcoma. But that filing window closed August 10th, 2024. So today, the live door is direct VA service connection.
Log in and file the direct claim and lean on the timeline so you don't get lost. Watch this.
Here's how the 100% actually moves over time, start to finish. Kim, walk us down the line.
Diagnosis, and the 100% starts. It holds all the way through treatment, 6 months out, the mandatory exam. Then the residuals carry it.
And that's the path even without a presumptive site. The word I told you to hold, presumptive, that's the shortcut. Direct is the door everyone else still gets to walk through. Miss neither.
Now the add-on I promised you at the very top. The one the VA never says out loud. This next part is the one people rewind, so take it slow.
These cancers are aggressive, and we say that plainly. So here's what a presumptive connection really buys. If a veteran passes from a service-connected sarcoma, the surviving spouse keeps getting a monthly check. That's the safest thing here. I mean, safest as long as the death is tied to service.
And that's the whole reason the presumptive list matters even after someone's gone. On the list, the death is already tied to service. The spouse isn't fighting to prove the cause during the worst month of their life. This is called DIC.
And to claim it, you file the, give me a second, the 21P534EZ. File the 526, wait, no, I had it backwards. The 534EZ is the survivor's form. The 526EZ is the veteran's own claim.
The base survivor rate is $1,699.36 a month, tax-free. Let me show you what that's worth over a whole year.
To borrow Tiffany's word, the skip line is what keeps that check flowing without a fight. No hearing, no proving the cause, just the check.
I'm leaning in for this one because there's a catch that matters. It's true for almost everyone watching. Almost. There's one group it can quietly hurt.
Remarry before age 55 and the DIC can stop. It's the same benefit, and one life change can shut the tap. A surviving spouse has a real decision the VA never spells out.
Which is why we say it out loud. So here's the number a family should never leave on the table.
Let's bring it to the one real fork, because 2 smart people disagree here. Kim says file the second the diagnosis is in hand, even mid-chemo. Michael says get the exposure paperwork airtight first. Both want you at 100%, they just disagree on the order.
File now. The day you file sets your effective date, and every month you wait is a month the VA never pays back. Think of the calendar like a parking meter that only runs backward.
Unless that fast file comes back denied. Log in and file, yes, but I've watched a rushed claim come back denied because the exposure line was thin. A denial you then spend a year appealing. Airtight beats fast.
Michael, push back on Kim's strongest point head on. She says the effective date alone is worth filing today. Is she wrong?
No, she's right that the date is money. I concede that outright. My worry is only the exposure proof, and honestly, for a presumptive sarcoma, that proof is mostly already done.
That's the crack in your own case, though. If it's presumptive, the paperwork you want to perfect is basically the list itself. So file, then supplement.
Kim, source that for me on the spot. Where does file then supplement actually live?
The supplemental claim, VA Form 20-0995. You file, and you can add evidence after with the same effective date protected. If anyone wants to check, that's the form.
Then let me redraw the whole question because we've been arguing order when the real issue is the exam. The one line I'd give every family is this: the claim you file today only holds if you answer that 6-month exam notice later. The filing isn't the finish line, the exam is.
You said exam, sit on that word. What is that exam in one sentence for someone hearing this at their kitchen table?
It's the single appointment where the VA decides what the cancer left behind. Show up, describe every residual, and you keep the rating you earned.
So here's where it lands, and both of them are right. File today to lock the date, make the presumptive list do the heavy lifting, and circle that 6-month exam in red. Right tool, right job. That's the plan a family can actually run. One line, then I'll let you go. For a rare sarcoma, the strongest tool is a list you didn't know had your name on it.
So tonight, do one thing. Pull your diagnosis, write down the exact sarcoma type, and check it against the presumptive list. That 5-minute look is the whole claim starting.
Next time we open up special monthly compensation on its own, the stacking check most veterans at 100% never even ask for. That one surprised me when I ran the numbers.
And I'm logging a win from earlier. I called the reduction letter before Michael did. Somebody owes me a coffee.
If this helped one veteran or one family claim what they're owed, like this video and subscribe, because we build this whole series out one condition at a time. Here's the one only you can answer. Did anyone at your clinic ever tell you your tumor type was on a presumptive list? Tell us in the comments. Honestly, we read them. Take care of your paperwork and each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Half true is still half wrong. Get the whole story.
Rating you an 8.7, Tiffany. Held back a hair because you made it look easy. This is Professor Erica. Thanks for watching and signing off.